Hey everyone, this is Chad Agarwal. I'm the owner of Perfect Clicks LLC. We're a digital marketing firm based in Parsippany, New Jersey. We specialize in SEO, web development, digital marketing, and a whole lot more. If you're interested in working with us, please check out the link in the description below. And today I'd really like to talk about how to set your marketing budget and calculate your marketing ROI. I was in a meeting earlier today with a client, and they have had a huge amount of success over the course of 2022, especially in October to December. You really want to get ahead with some of your clients, and or as a business, you may want to just make sure that you are looking ahead for the next year, and you might need to calculate your ROI for this year on your marketing efforts and also set that budget for next year. What I'd like to do is walk you through how to calculate your marketing ROI with some simple strategies, but then also use those tactics and then set your budget for the next year too. So let's jump right into it. First, you have the CPA model, or cost per acquisition. This model is really for assigning a cost to a specific action that a customer can take. You really have to have a good sense of your numbers and the value of a customer, of what you're able to spend. So you really want to know how much is a specific sale worth to you, so you can assign a cost per acquisition or a cost per whatever the action it is that you want that customer to take. So I think it's really important if you have a cost per acquisition and you can assign, okay, it takes me $50 in spend to bring in a customer. That's kind of my cost per acquisition. And then you can take that customer and assign a value to that customer based on a one-time sale or the lifetime of that customer, depending on your business. The second one that I think I see a lot of companies using, it's a little less talked about, is cost per sale. And if you really calculate how much it costs to get to that initial sale, a lot of times you can scale your marketing efforts and growth by just knowing your cost per sale. So very simply, what does it cost you to bring in that one sale, and can you assign a dollar amount to that all the way across, and then you kind of just scale that up. Another way to calculate is looking at the cost to replace the services that you're doing. So let's say you have a marketing agency, or you're spending some money on advertising or marketing. How much time and energy and resources are you buying? So for example, if my team works for 50 hours a month or 100 hours a month, it might cost a lot less than somebody else who may want to try to do it in-house, and they don't have all of the people required to service the account properly. If they have one person, it'll actually become a lot more expensive than having a team of 5 or 6 or 7 work on their account. Cost to replace is very helpful because you can really say, okay, well, it would cost me $50,000 to $70,000 or $50,000 to $100,000 to get these kinds of results. Well, I have a marketing agency or a set of freelancers or a different mix of marketing professionals that may cost you a lot less than that throughout the year. So you have your cost per acquisition, cost per sale, and then also, what is the cost to replace those services? Because every marketing service, whether you're doing SEO, social media, paid advertising, even PR, anything like that, has a definite cost associated with that. Once you have a really good idea of what it costs you to bring in a lead, or to bring in a contact, or to get somebody to sign up to your mailing list, or to actually make a sale to affect your top line revenue, you really can start to set budgets for the next year. And the way you want to do that, or the way that you can do that, is by scaling up what you're spending to get that CPA model, or your cost per sale, or to scale up what it costs you in terms of doing your marketing efforts. But also, you could do it as a percentage of total sales. A lot of companies do this. You'll see a lot of startups who will have investors and board members and things like that, like your traditional startups with seed rounds and funding and things like that. Those startups have a set marketing amount as a percentage of sales, or sometimes even as a budget. A lot of corporate companies will have a budget, and that's just a set budget, and that's a percentage of total sales. Now for you individually, depending on the size of your business and how many years you've been in business, you can set a percentage of sales, and depending on what your CPA is or how much your cost per sale, you can try to get it to the point where if you can make 100% on that cost, whatever it costs you, and you can make 100%, and then you can scale up the number of sales that you get. So let's say you scale up from 100 sales to 1,000 sales, and you decided to invest 25% into marketing. You can almost get it, if you get your numbers right, you can get it to like a flywheel where it just takes off. And so that's how a lot of startups can really grow, is by just doing a percentage of their sales, because it's just unlimited growth if you get your numbers and your cost per acquisition right. So that's a really interesting model to take. And it actually does work for companies that are growing, even if they're at 500,000 to a million to 5 million, and 5 million to 10 million. Another really interesting way to look at sales and when you're setting your budget is to look at the cost of missed sales. So what is it costing you to not reach certain customers? And this is a little bit more effective for, some established businesses, but I could see how it could work for a small business too. Take a look at the sales that you're missing out on. Are there any big deals that you could be getting that you're currently not getting because maybe you're not spending enough, or you're not applying the resources to reach those? So that's kind of a cool mindset shift. If you can change the way you're thinking about your marketing and how much you should be spending, because a lot of people look at, okay, well, I got these many customers in a month, so that's how much, and I spent this much, so that's what I'm getting. But the really great companies are looking years ahead in terms of investing now and getting that payoff, not just next month, but 2 years, 3 years down the line, especially if you're investing in content and creating equity within the business. But that's another video for another time, so please let me know if you're interested in that. So getting back to the idea of knowing what you're missing out on, and if you can calculate what you're missing out on, you could set your budget to hopefully capture some of those sales and then create a profitable business model that way. In addition to kind of creating this missing out on your missed sales, you can also value your traffic or your inbound. And a lot of people use pay-per-click as a benchmark to value the traffic that you bring in. So let's say you're bringing in 10,000 visits a month or 20,000 visits a month via SEO, and you might be bringing in 10,000 a month from social media, or maybe it's 50,000 or 100,000, whatever you're bringing in, take a nice round number. And you want to assign a value to that. So how do you equate the value? So you might equate the value based on how much you can make from that traffic or your revenues, which is fine. But the cost of that traffic might actually be much higher than the visits that you're getting. So we used to work with a solar company, and they went from being just like a local solar company to fastest 5,000 growing companies in the US, and they had a huge amount of growth, doing a lot of SEO and organic. But prior to that, they were spending a lot of time on pay-per-click and spending a lot of resources on pay-per-click. So we were constantly equating what the traffic was worth in dollars of pay-per-click advertising. So for them, they had an average of about $5 per click. And so when they were getting organic traffic, there were some months where they were getting over $50,000 in organic traffic per month. So it's a really interesting way to measure your traffic compared to paid traffic, so you know the value of that organic traffic, because there's a lot of different ways to monetize that traffic and making sure that you're resonating with your audience. So I highly recommend looking at the cost of that inbound traffic and kind of valuing it that way, because you can continue to scale that up. And as long as you're profitable, you might want to put more resources into the organic side of the business, because that has much more of a ramp up. Lastly, I want to leave you with this idea that one very savvy business owner that we were working with, he has taught me a lot, is that you pretty much always calculate where you're going to go and what the budget is going to be. And as soon as you get to that next level, everything changes. And what you can see now, or what you're capable of doing, You have so many more resources, you have so many more opportunities because you have more clients and you have more inbound. So things will change and your budget has to change accordingly. And I just thought it's a really interesting idea that once you get to that level, you don't even know what's there. So you very well could be underestimating that upside if you continue to invest. And I'm not saying that everybody who spends on marketing is going to get to that level. I'm just saying that when you get to a certain point and you've really done the work and you're doing it right, you're going to see more opportunities and you might actually see a whole lot more upside and ROI that you didn't even know existed. So that's a really helpful tip. I've seen that happen quite a few times, but I had it explained to me really nicely, so I hope it helps you. And if you did get any helpful ideas from this video, please leave a like. It does help out with the YouTube algorithm, and it lets me know that I'm doing a good job and we're growing the channel. If you do have any questions about calculating your marketing ROI or how to budget for the next year, or even if you have any questions about our services, please leave them in the comments below or reach out to me directly at info@perfectclicks.com. We're happy to work with you guys, and very interested to see what are some of the experiences that you've had with creating your marketing budgets and some of the challenges that you face. But if you really know your numbers, if you know your cost per acquisition, your cost per sale, if you understand your revenues and where the sources of your leads are coming from, and you can really create a budget. And I would recommend creating a budget that you can scale up. So always speak with a professional though, and I wish you the best of luck, and thank you so much for watching. Please do like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video. Thanks.